most of my films I worked with like today who are like superstars who are not known that much when I did films with them, and they were paid less than me. But then once the film became a hit, the next film like maybe 50 times more than what he was paid. For the film that 5 times more. That's it. So that's the kind of difference. We work together. He was relatively unknown, and then we do a hit together, and then he gets paid in crores, and I'm still like trying to hit that 1 CR. So that of course exists, and I don't know why. They think, oh, it's a hero na nodake bartare jasti jana anta. But I think if there was no heroine, I don't even know if people would still go and watch movies, right? I think we're equally contributing to the film. Having said that, I have in the past, I have refused to do films because I wasn't being paid as much as I was expecting to be paid. Only because I want to prove a point that no, unless I'm going to be paid equally or more, I'm not going to do a film. So I have let go of films just for that, because I think that women must be paid equally, not just in films, even otherwise. I've had friends who work in the corporate field as well, and she's doing the same job as the other person, but then she got to know that he was being paid a lot more only because something with his education or something like that. I don't understand you, but you're doing the same job, right? So I don't think it's just in the films, but I think it exists everywhere. Women are just paid less than
Nandini,
men.
Preeta,
Yeah, it's the truth. It's a universal truth.
But how, from the time you started till the kind of films that you see today, how much have the roles for women evolved, gotten better? Or is it, do you see still, like, other than some, women-oriented films, do you see them, do you see any progress? Is it progressive for women on screen?
Yeah, for sure. I would, I think Gantu Mote was an excellent film, directed by Rupa Rao. Then there was another film, smaller film, I don't think many of you watched it, but I loved it. It's called Hadnelu Hadnentu. I loved the film, okay. And then there's also Sindhu, who just directed Acharya and Co. I love that film as well.
Acharya and Co.
Yeah, and then in Sapta Sagara, I really liked Rukmini's role as well. Yeah. So I think it has definitely evolved over the years. And I think I wish there'd just be more of it. Yeah. Okay. I got lucky in Kannada. And I think to a certain extent in Tamil also, I did a few films. But my first film in Telugu didn't do well. And then I was told that they're very superstitious. So if your first film in Telugu doesn't do well, then nobody's going to touch you. But if your first film does well, then you'll sign like 10 films together. Okay. And I think a lot of people who are extremely talented, like actresses, right? Who are I don't know, Vidya Balan, right? She was so talented. She is really talented. But then she didn't make it in the South, right? Because, I don't know, whatever reason.
Krishna's initial films were not doing well.
Yeah. But so they look at that. I mean, especially for heroines, then if your films like back to back don't do well, then they'll start calling you an iron leg. They have tags like that for women, and then nobody wants to do a film with you. And it completely takes away the fact that she could be an extremely good actress. She could be very good at what she does. She may be good looking as well, but nobody cares. Your film has to do well. Only then will you be. And if your film does well and if you just come for one scene, it doesn't matter. They'll still take you. They'll still sign you on. Because that means you're lucky, something worked in that film. It doesn't matter how good you are at acting or whether you're good looking or not. They will take you because you're a success. That's how, yeah.
Moral of the story, if you're a woman and you're successful, you're definitely lucky.
I think in the past, right, when you got married, your career was over. Now it's changing. So even if I were to get married today or have a child, people will still accept me and I will still have movies, not as much as the men would, but I still have that. So I think the way society has changed, that has kind of helped us sustain in the movies. And do you agree?
Are there specific roles that you want to do, like where you are particular, like as a woman, I've achieved so much already, I've seen so much already, this is not something I want to do anymore?
I think why Malayalam cinema works is also because that's just, I don't want to generalize, but I think that the people over there, the way they perceive women is completely different from, let's say, here in Karnataka, right? all our films are all about machoism. So society, I mean, since films have such a big impact on society and the viewer, I feel like they're also seen, as machoism is being strong, right? And anything that's vulnerable is seen as weak. But the minute you start having women stories being told on screen, and I think you just make society a lot more empathetic, a lot more compassionate, because I think that's what women stand for. I think the more women are shown on screen, I think the society also kind of reflects that. I mean, I'm not able to articulate it the way I'm thinking it, but what I'm trying to say is, I think for Kannada films, if we had more women narratives and perspectives being brought on screen, I think the audience will also change the way they perceive and how women are looked at, and how they treat women. I think that is what is lacking here.
Do you guys agree?
I agree.
I think Preeta should talk, because her film has made such a statement.
I think with Kannada, what you're saying is absolutely right.
They want to go and see heroines in a film only do the way they perceive them to be beautiful, come for a song, and all of that. But the hero should be, doing all the stunts and all of that. So I think when men go, they want to see who they aspire to be, right? Since 70% of the viewers are men. If women started to watch more films, then they would look at women and who they aspire to be. I think that is where the difference lies. I think every woman's story at some level is pretty much the same, right? So I think just bringing more of that. So I think the more women watch it, they become stronger, more courageous. They start leading the way, and they think they're not alone in this journey. Other women are also going through it. Any film that kind of gives women hope and that it's possible too, and then we can change the world, and together. I think films like that, I think, is something that I'd be interested in. When we made Swati Muttana Malehani also, I think when we got Siri on board, I loved the fact that she was the protagonist and she kind of led the film, and I think she was married, right? And then she was falling in love with another person, which is a complete taboo, right? I mean, we would think that that's what makes a bad girl. But no, she's a woman, she has emotions, she has feelings, and if a man can have it too, why can't a woman? And if a man can stray, why not a woman? And what are these different rules for men and different rules for women? I think that was something we subtly tried to say through the film. And how it doesn't end for her. Now that her marriage is over, it doesn't mean her life is over. She still has herself, a sense of agency, a sense of self, and she has everything, going for her, and there's a life ahead of her. And I think those are the kind of films that I want to make, yeah. Keep the audience hooked through the film. So that was something that I'm quite interested in, and maybe we'll chat again. And I am looking at scripts, and I do hope to do a film sometime. Let's see.
Okay.